Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, as well as peace and blessings, many salutations to you Akim that are risking your lives and freedom to push this word that was commanded unto us, as well as you few Akwath, which are the sisters whom are believing, listening, and learning in silence, like the scriptures say to do so. And man, you know, hey, this word in meditation thereof, all right, gives us purpose. It gives us, the leadership, all right, from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, all right, gives us light, in a dark, corrupt world, all right, and throughout every situation, is how we reason, whether it's studying, reading the scriptures, or all right, paying attention to the counsel that the Lord has set up, and as we know, the scriptures say faith come by hearing, us first opening our ears after that first call, in which Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, he's the one that opened us up, to be partakers and believers. Okay. And, and beyond that, there becomes responsibilities, accountability, making yourself, ready for what's about to take place, so that this thing don't come upon you unawares, because the Lord, I just got done watching the brother's video. And I agree with what the brother was saying, about the times, that we're in, and it's hidden different. Okay. It's definitely hidden different. We see what's taking place. And if you can't reason via these prophecies, via measuring the times, all right, then your purpose here is going to come to naught. The Lord's going to remove you. All right. There's going to be terrible judgments. Okay. The Lord is the King of terror. Okay. And he has judgment stored for all of you lackadaisical Israelites. Because a lot of you are lackadaisical. You're taking this warning as blah, blah, blah. There's always government shutdowns. There's always wars. There's always earthquakes. There's always hurricanes, That's been going on for thousands of years. And you put off, the day of the Lord. All right. There's a lot of men, women as well, who put off the day of the Lord. All right. And your reasoning is with this world. Okay. The Lord speaks about hating your life. The prophets, the elect, hated their lives. All right. And you can see it on these people, man. They're infatuated with riches that vanish, because most of these millionaires that are from the tribes, the Lord strikes and takes their riches like overnight. You know, we've seen it with a lot of the celebrities, man. O.J. Simpson, we're seeing it with Diddy. All right, R. Kelly. You know, the list goes on, man. You know, if your reasoning is behind money, fame, and the bullshit power, you know, and you're happy with the crumbs that you eat off of Esau's table, you're not worthy for the kingdom. You know, because the words before us have prepared us, you know, to embark on these times. Okay. And what we see in the reasoning of these people, in the minds of these people, is they're going about their days, you know, trying to wiggle out of this matrix, so to speak, without using the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And the ones that do, for the most part, are caught up in, you know, a twisted doctrine. As the words say, the doctrines of devils. You know, and they don't seek out the truth of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, man. You know, there's actually groups, you know, trying to fight the truth. On Facebook, they have a group by the name of Dismantling Hebrew Israelism. And they're studying, all right, to confound the truth. And that's impossible, you know, but they use the scriptures, entangle the scriptures in rotten doctrines to indoctrinate the masses of the people, you know, because the Lord didn't give them ears to hear. You know, the Lord gave us ears to hear and mouths to feed the needy, you know, who want to hear this truth, that have been chosen from the Lord, you know, because the Lord knows who's going to hear it, who's going to take the word in, and who's going to toss it out. Okay. Now, you know, to the bare minimum, you know, someone that's seeking the Lord would humble up, you know, humble down, you know, and obtain the understanding that's given. But most of these people are proud as hell, man. You know, and they simple as hell. You know, the simpletons, as the Lord said that you know, the simple believe of everything, man. You know, they believe anything. You know, these people are, I mean, when you see what they're talking about how the I forgot what they said. They said the Neanderthals are Nephilim. And these are the conversations that these people are having in the last days. Okay. Foolish conversations that don't edify, that are not giving you the keys to the kingdom. Okay. And they don't really have responsibilities, nor do they have a mindset, okay, of being meek and humble. You know, these average Americans they feel like they're entitled, and that just because they call on Jesus, that they're going to be raptured up. Okay, they're not gonna have to go through the tribulation. The tribulation is going to be in the kingdom, and they're going to get a rude awakening. Okay. And if your mentality, your reasoning is based upon Esau's economical system, his financial system, you about to get confounded, because the Lord has financially gutted America to the point to where they're speaking about EBT being done, all right, being at the bottom of the barrel, because these politicians, are feeding, as we see what's going on, they're feeding over 40 million Americans each month on top of the thick clay that they're already laden with. Okay. And so their hands are full, and they're ultimately fighting, because this is a divided kingdom. They're fighting, in that White House and in these meetings. They're at odds against one another because they don't reason with the scriptures. All right. They reason in iniquity, going town to town. All right. To and from the earth. All right. To steal, devour, take away from the needy. And the scriptures speak about how if a man obtain food through dishonesty, unrighteousness, that his mouth will ultimately end up in the gravel. And let's see if we can get that, because it's like, yeah, I have my phone on airplane mode so that I will not be disturbed in the lesson. All right. Let's see if we can get that. Because it's like I misread the scripture, and this is what I'm speaking about: a mouth full of lies, a mouth full of deceit and wickedness. All right. This is Proverbs 20:17. It says, bread of deceit is sweet to a man, because this devil, thinks it's okay to commit robbery and to pillage and to invade. It says, but afterwards his mouth shall be filled with gravel. And ultimately there's going to be a lot of judgment. Okay. And we understand what the Lord is doing. We understand clearly from A to Z. Okay. The whole row, what the Lord is doing. Why? Because we reason. We use Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai's word to reason. All right. And this is Joshua 1:8. The book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, because we're supposed to reason by way of the word. All right. This is our compass unto righteousness, our gateway into our decision making, our thinking, our logic, because it speaks about how we're going to have good success when you get down to this verse, if we do this. Okay. It says, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then shalt thou make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. And this is how we, prosper in life, man. It's to gain the understanding and use this wisdom. All right. And the Lord will proceed to give us, a mouth to fight our adversaries. All right. Physical strength to defeat all of our adversaries in a time where they approach us and come for us. Okay. And in a spirit of no fear, but unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. It says, have I not commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy power Yahweh is with thee whithersoever thou goest, because the spirit of the Lord is with us, man, wherever we may go. And this is why we end up having so many enemies. Why? Because these people don't reason the way we reason, and their spirits hate our spirits. All right. You may encounter somebody that's you don't know. You don't even know them. In the moment you encounter them, there's grievous tension, because the spirits on these people are demonic, man, evil as hell, and they can sense the spirit of the Lord on us, our reasoning, you know. And all you that are without this truth, that are not doing what Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua said, as the word says, you're dogs, and you're going to be destroyed, man. This is Revelation 22 in verse 14. Blessed are they that do his commandments. Okay, the ones that are seeking the Lord by trying to please the Lord to the best of their ability. Okay, that have put down the pork, put down the wickedness that they may have done before they understood the truth. And if they do fall, they get back up and pray that they never fall again. All right, they make the right decisions. It says that they may have right to the tree of life, which is the kingdom, and they may enter into the gates, into the city. It says, for without are dogs and sorcerers, whoremongers, murderers, idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie. And these are who we're up against, man. Dogs and sorcerers, whoremongers and murderers, idolaters. This is who the Lord put us amongst. All right. And so we got to be wise as what the Lord has commanded us. All right. You know, to be prudent, not to be simple like these simple ass jakes. Okay. Now, there's going to be, a time where the way that they reason, all right, the Lord's going to set snares and traps on their reasoning. All right, he's actually setting up the end of all things, the end of this economy, the end of the bread, the end of the prosperous ways of Babylon the Great, America. This is the book of Proverbs 23. Okay. In verse 5, it says, "Wilt thou set thy eyes upon that which is not for naught?" All right. This is for naught. It's things that the Lord set, these temporary things. For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle toward heaven. All right. Because the Lord gives and he takes away. It says, "Eat thou not the bread of him that have an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats." Because the luxuries and the comfort here in America, all right, will take you away from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. The love of silver and gold, all right, the love of America will take you away from doing the work of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. It says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." And this is my point, because if you thinking in a carnal manner, all right, hey, it's going to be a part of you, a part of your reasoning. Okay, it says, "Eat and drink," saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. And if your heart's not with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, you're set up for the murder, the mass murder that the Lord is going to bring. All right. And this is why we don't conversate with you simple ass jakes, man. This is why we don't have, we may give you a little conversation to buy time and bullshit with you. But I'm talking about reasoning, the scriptures, the doctrine, the breakdowns. Hey, those conversations we don't have with the foolish, With that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash.